Let me start with the title, though, David. I always look forward to the titles of your books. Let's explore diabetes with owls. Where did this particular phrase come from?
I was signing books for this woman somewhere in the United States, and she wanted me to write in her book to her daughter, explore your possibilities. And I said, well, I'll keep the word explore. And so I wrote, let's explore diabetes with owls. And then I thought, that's going to be my book title.
So this wasn't a found one then, because often I know when you are engulfed in flames, that was a found phrase, wasn't it?
Right. No, this it just popped in my head. And I just thought it was such a good title for a book. But one of the first interviews I did for the book was with Diabetes Forecast magazine. and the editor said, you know, I read your book and I didn't see the word diabetes once. What message do you have for the DOC? And that's the Diabetes Online Community. And I said, well, focus on the word owls. Because owls is in here a couple of times.
Is that this is perhaps too big an assumption to make, but it strikes me that you are moving in some of your writing away from your journals, away from your experiences, and more towards creating fiction. And this obviously is a created title as opposed to a found title. Is there something in that, or am I just making an unnecessary leap?
Well, I mean, I did include a little bit of fiction in this book, like little dramatic monologues, just to kind of break it up a little bit. But no, like I don't know, I'm just always on the lookout for a book title. I mean, I would imagine it's the same if you put out a record, you know, wouldn't you imagine? Like you're just always looking for it, or if you're a musician, you're always looking for the name of your band. Like everywhere you go, you're looking for word combinations. It would be... What would your band be called if you had a band?
My band would be called, you know what, let's not waste time with that. I can run up to people in the street and tell them afterwards they'd like to hear what you have to say. But what would your band be called?
Well, I would steal the name of somebody else's band. I heard of a band recently called Wizard Sleeve. And that's just such a great combination.
Well, you know what that means, of course, do you?
And then I found out what it means. And so it's even... Isn't that fantastic?
It's wonderful on every level. Okay, let me ask you about some of the new pieces in here and some of the recurring themes or topics that you deal with. Fans of David will be happy to know that his father appears in the book yet again. Your father seems to be a gift that keeps on giving. Do you run stuff past him? Are you concerned ever about upsetting him? Were you concerned when your first book came out that he and your mother might be upset by what was put and the way you presented them to us?
The only thing that ever bothered my father was I wrote something about my grandmother, and my grandmother lived with us for a while, and then my father had to put her in a nursing home, and it really bothered him that I wrote about that. And it wasn't his fault. He was in a tight spot. My mother said either she goes or I go. And so he did what he had to do. And I thought I wrote that in the story. I know I did. But he was just embarrassed, or he didn't want to revisit that time. But other than that, like my dad knows, he's like a really confident person. Like he's the most confident person I've ever known. So he doesn't have any doubts. Like he used to, all my life, his mantra, what I heard him say to me over and over and over again was, you know what you are? A big fat zero. And that sounds bad today, but that was before self-esteem was discovered. And I don't think I was alone. I think lots of people grew up hearing that, and it's what got me out of bed every day. I thought, I'll show you who's a big fat zero. And it was just what I needed. If I had a father who was just really supportive and who wanted to read everything I wrote and who just believed in me and wanted me to pursue a career in the arts, I'd be a drug addict. I mean, I was a drug addict, but I mean, I would have been like a drug addict who didn't then turn around and write about it. Yeah. You know, so my dad feels pretty good about himself.
Does he still favor the at-home outfit you describe in the book, the kind of relaxed dress code that he
my father, he came to visit me a couple of years ago, and he looked like a distinguished sea captain. You know, like he can he had a suit on, and it was just the right color for him, and he had a little pocket square, and everybody said, "Your father, he's so good looking," and oh, I can't believe he's that old. But I guarantee you right now, if you saw my father, you would also see my father's nipples. Okay, that he would be wearing a T-shirt with holes in it, and you can always see his nipples through the holes in his T-shirts. He doesn't cut them out there. It just happens to be, they just happen to fall there. If you saw my dad on the street right now, you would think that man is going to ask me for money. Yet he can clean up and go places, but he's if he's just going out to the grocery store, he just doesn't give a damn.
Well, maybe that's the confidence you're talking about, a kind of lack of personal vanity, and a kind of.
But at the same time, he's very vain, and he is. I always thought my dad had a really good sense of style. Like even the T-shirt with the holes in it. It's maybe not current. Do you know what I mean? It's maybe more like 1978 style. But he holds on to things. He holds on to clothes. This closet's just a museum. No, he's an interesting guy, and I would never want anyone to think that I wanted anyone else from my father. I was really, I think it's when you're growing up, you pray it was anybody else except this person who's controlling you like that. But no, he's a pretty good guy.
Did he support, or did he enjoy your period when you were sculpting? Did he like the work you created then? Do you still sculpt, in fact? Do you think that the world of literature's gain is the world of sculptor's loss?
Oh, definitely. I went to art school, and so but see, my sister Gretchen took art lessons, right? And my dad sent Gretchen to art school. She went to like sketching camp and things like that. So my father had already made it up of his mind that Gretchen was the artist. So whenever I did anything, he would say, "Well, you're no Gretchen." But I realized he was right. I just wasn't. I mean, I never had her. I was never inventive the way that she is, or passionate about it the way that she was. I thought about going back to it when I retire, because I wasn't awful. I just made the same thing over and over and over again.
And what was that thing?
What I'd like to do is I take wind-up toys apart, and then I take the motor, and then I encase the motor in wood, and then I was making models of human hearts that you would wind up. But when it was a panda playing a drum, it would move like this. But now it's burdened by wood, and so the movements were awkward, and it was like a bird that had hit the window, and it was dying on the ground, dying, and like he wanted to step on it and put it out of its misery. So actually, kind of nice. I saw one. I came upon one the other day, and I thought, this is held up. It was not. I mean, the wood. It was nicely crafted, and I think I might go back to it one day.
Something to fall back on.